the plan that we have coming up is about the Alumni Association, the Institute for National Transformation Alumni Association of Nigeria, which we call the INT. So doing justice to that tonight is we have two key persons. The first is Dr. Olusegun Toluyi. Is a very great resource, and he has been part of this process of developing the alumni. We work together on building the constitution that we currently have, and the alumni engagement handbook, and all that process up to here. More than 2 years on this process, and he has been very, very dedicated alongside with the team of others who have invested a lot of time in the process. And we will also be hearing from Mr. Ishaku Jalemsam, who has been appointed to head the electoral committee. So we're going to hear more about that process. So without taking any further time, I will invite Dr. Olusegun Toluyi to take over the floor. The floor is ceded to you. Thank you very much, sir. You can see your screen, but no audio yet. And I'll mute. Okay, your mic is still muted.
Sorry, can you hear me now, sir?
Yes, so we can hear you now. That's correct.
Can hear me now?
Right.
Okay, I'm terribly sorry. My internet just started acting up because there was a switch in power, so I think this power outage has affected us here. So I told them to switch to the generator, and I think it just needed to stabilize. I'm always in a dark arena. Can anybody see my face? I'm sure many people will just be wondering, what does this man look like? Every time he's always hiding his face. It makes me a little uncomfortable. It's my pleasure to be here. A very good evening to everybody. And I hope that your day is not as hectic as mine. Mine was thoroughly very hectic. I hope yours is not as hectic as mine. Now, let me try and find my slide. So just give me a second if you do not mind, please. Okay. Let me try and find my slide and then share it with us.
You had it open on the screen a moment ago.
Yes. You know, I had to, my computer had to reboot. So that wasn't what is happening, yes. My computer had to reboot. Just as I told you, there was a change in power. So it had to reboot. That's what is happening. Let me just quickly see if I can get it now, yes. No, so now, do you have it now?
Yes, it's there now.
You can have it, okay. Thank you so very much. A very good evening to everyone. I'm terribly sorry that I'm a little sloppy, but please just pardon this old one. Yes, I am glad to be in your midst this morning. But before we proceed, I know we had a song that maybe I came in late. If you do not mind, can we say a word in prayers, please? Can we just say one word in prayer before I proceed? My Father and my God, I want to thank you for that which you're doing. You are the Lord that owns the time and you own the seasons. Out of pitch darkness, you called forth light. In our midst today, Father, I am asking by the authority of the heavens that you will call forth light in the name of Jesus. And in obedience to that which is the heartbeat of your servant, even the DG of INT, that all of us might begin to see this light. All of us might begin to come into this light. And as we continue to deliberate, Father, we might begin to walk the talk. Nigeria is waiting. And it is the time now for the manifestations of those upon whom you have breathed. Father, may the breath that you have given unto us go not to waste. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Spirit of God. Amen. Amen. Can you still hear me?
Yes, very well. Thank you,
I
sir.
hope I'm not done pontificating on everybody. So again, thank you so very much for having me. We have spoken extensively to what we're trying to do in activating the ideologies around the alumni relations. So today, I will not be talking to everything, okay? I will not be talking to, oh boy, I'm not sure I even have the right slide. Oh, no, I don't have, but it's okay. Well, I will still talk to you, okay? Because today I want you to know that a few things we'll be talking about, so many things we have spoken in the past about what we're doing and the details. And it was a whole lot of work. And yes, you were right, sir. For 18 months, we sat down to talk about those two articles of association. And then we spent another 5 months thereabout talking about how we're going to put it. So it's actually about 23 months or 20 something months that we spent on it, okay? Today, we will be looking at a few things going forward because I think strongly that we have spoken enough and that it's about time we begin to truly fold our sleeves and get to the field in the marketplace and begin to ensure our mettle. So today I will be speaking to a tripod of change, which I know that most of us already know about. I will be speaking to strategic engagement ecosystem. Many of us have seen me spoken to it, but I will just be touching a few things going forward so that I can predicate the things that we would be looking at going forward. We'll be looking at a template, a matrix on our tactical engagement. And then we'll now take a time to put a tracker on our terms of reference. When the committee was set forward in 2020, there was a term of reference that was given us. And there's no point in just working without keeping a track on that time of how much of that time of reference have we achieved thus far. We'll be looking at a proposed admin structure for the management of the alumni community for the INT. We'll be looking at the a pitch on our tactical engagement. We'll be looking at an executive committee matters going forward because we are inching forward closer and ever closer than ever before on getting an executive committee to really get into the trenches and begin to do the works that we need to do so that all of us as the people, we file behind them. And then we will now be looking extensively at our engagement plan. Now, if we have all those instruments of administration in place, how do we want to begin to engage our community and pulling it out of the society in which we have found ourselves? Now we'll be looking at what we are doing to get that done, and hopefully we would conclude by raising some vital issues and looking at the expectations that we will be expecting and expectations from every alumnus of the INT. So basically, that is what I think for now we will be looking at. It won't be an extensive report, but those things that I think is pertinent for us to move forward as it were. So having said that, let us begin to look at the tripod of change. It's very interesting actually, because many of you have heard me speak to this, but particularly I need to point out a few things here today, okay? No change ever happens without a plan. You can have all the ideas, you can have all the urgings and all the promptings, but you really will never activate change until you have a plan that is documented, and it has to be a work plan that contains all the threats, all the merit and everything in how you're going to contain all those issues. And I'm sure that most of us know that. And without a doubt, unequivocally, I am able to say that INT, because I've had time to sit down with the idea that is fanning INT, and every time I look at it, I am humbled by all that I have seen that has happened and all that our leaders are slaving, especially the DG, his wonderful wife. I pray for that woman lately every day because it is not easy to find a support like that in any woman, and the faculty. There's so much work that has been done. And actually, let me say it clearly for free. I think we are tethering at the point of information overload as it is. Except we begin to offload this thing, we would be regurgitating. Actually, we would be looking into a big problem. We are actually overloaded. So as per plan, INT has a veritable, impactful plan. But no matter how good the plan is, if we do not have and build, like I tried to speak to in the commencement, my address on the commencement of the 44th to the 47th Oak Seed Executive Leadership course, maybe a few days ago, except we are very, very conscious and deliberately build a community around that which we have scattered all over the place, we might have a serious issue. And not only would we have a serious issue of identity, what we would have is a serious issue of sustainable funding. Because listen, no change ever occur without a steady stream of income. It is the reason you find that most of the people that want to cause some change, even if they are negative, they get into the narcotics trade, get into all kinds of illicit trade to fund their operations. We will not go illicit by the grace of God, but we need to be able to establish causes and steady, legitimate stream of sustainable funding. Is the reason why it is in ox blood there. So you will know that it is catching fire. We need to do something about it. Except we do something about it, all that we are doing will just be academic and it will not impact the marketplace. It's the reason I brought this tripod of chain, and I would want us to take a second look at it properly on our own and begin to pray that the Holy Spirit will minister to us. And I have prayed that knowing that the Lord will minister to all of us. We are very familiar with this ecosystem. Everyone that have our article of us, especially the one we call the engagement handbook, you are going to find this thing there, and I'm not going to bother myself talking about it because I've spoken about it extensively. But if there are questions about it, we can come back to it. But there is a cycle about it. You don't know exactly where it's starting and where it is ending. But each of them lead to the other, and together, inclusively, they will drive whatever it is we want to do at the alumni community. Okay, so this is very important. A tactical and engagement ecosystem. Okay, listen. Every time I've had a DG belaboring the issue of students, I think strongly that when we get our alumni relations and development right, awareness and perception of the industry, of the institute in the marketplace will be heightened, and recruitment and admission into INT will be expedited. Take, for instance, look at the Lagos Business School. Sometimes you could be on the queue for 3 years, you haven't gotten invited. For one thing I know, many business schools all over the world, it might take you 5 years, maybe 7 years, sometimes 10 years for you to get a look-in because of the name that they carry. And when you look at their content in the curriculum, you could see that they aren't doing exactly any better than the curriculum that INT is carrying. So I believe strongly that is why some of us believe that we need to do all that we need to do, that God has given us power to do, to establish a functional alumni relations and development going forward, so that we can now excite every other loop in that tactical engagement ecosystem. Okay, so having said that, I want to now place the term of reference before us, folks. This morning, I want us to take a good look at the terms of reference. When we started out, this is the terms of reference that we got. There are 5 of them, okay? And in June, 12th of June, 2023, we came to you in a report that we made to the board. In that report, we said item number 1 was good. We were good to go. Items number 2 and number 5, we are priming to go. And items 3 and 4, we have not even begun. I'm happy to declare to the House, and as you will see going forward, that today, items 1 and 2 is good to go. And items 4 and 5 is primed to go, while we are, as soon as 4 and 5 hit the road, item 3 would follow. You also know the items and they are before you, okay? And I will be speaking by the grace of God tonight on what we have done to achieve item 1 and 2, and then to have item 4 and 5 as a pipeline action to follow immediately after 1 and 2, and item 3 to follow thereafter. What is the administrative structure? For those of us who have read the Constitution and the engagement handbook, you're going to find, and a number of people have called me privately and asked me, why is it this elaborate? Do we need to be this elaborate to go? Don't forget. And I said to them, I said, look, the thing is we're trying to do it a little different. You see, and I ride on the wisdom of men who had gone before me. Albert Einstein, it was, who said that the problems that we face at the time we are at cannot be solved at the point we were at when we created them. Okay, so we need to begin to look at ways of truly doing something a little differently. The issue is because we lack the kind of structure that brings almost everybody on board. Because look, listen, we say to ourselves that everybody that comes to INT is a no excuse leader. And if you have a leader in whom you've breathed so powerfully that you've given so much information and you do not give him an opportunity to begin to practice, whether you like it or not, this leader is going to get frustrated, and this leader is just definitely going to become a black leg, even in the system of what you're trying to build. So 2 things actually advised us while we're working on this. Number 1 is to bring as many people as possible actively involved in running the alumni administration. We want to make as many people actively involved because we are a community. Everybody should be throwing in whatever it is they can throw in, however they can throw it in. So that is one of the primary reasons. The second fundamental reason is to have a level of discourse, to percolate, to take that discourse down to the bottom of the pyramid, if we can so speak, so that everybody would have a meeting, a point where they meet and discuss those things that particularly affect them and escalate it through another, a medium that we are going to be speaking to, so that they can, whatever that the faculty is saying, whatever the leadership of the intern is saying can go down, and it can also be escalated through a channel that everybody will feel that they are working, they are actively engaged, and they are contributing to the system. And that will drive ownership, because we must take it away from just followership and leadership and the rest of it, and take it and give it to people so that they can own it. To that respect, we have these 5 levels. And the 5 levels, we have spoken at length to them, is the governing council, which you have graciously given me the privilege to lead. And that is the team that has been doing all the work since we have been called about 15, 16 months ago, thereabout. And then from now on, like I said, we are moving gradually to getting the executive council. This will be the men who will be the boots in the field, actually really running everything, while policy will now be left at the governing council. And then we have always said to ourselves that the model in INT is to run via the governors, the class governors, and the sphere of influence group. But before now, they really do not have any forum in which all of them meet. So we are saying outside the executive council and the governing council, no matter how torturous anyone think about that, we yet need to have a sphere of influence group where the sphere of influence, whatever it is you want to do on any of the 7 mountains, which definitely is going to break down into sub-families, they will be coordinated not only at the national, they will actually start from the bottom up. They will be coordinated most probably at the state level, because to go down to the local government might be belaboring it now. At the state level, They will go into the regions, and we all know that we have 6 geopolitical regions and zones in Nigeria, and all of them will have maybe 5 to 6 states. So each of the states will empty into the region, and the region will empty into the central. Okay, so that way we'll be able to have some coordination, and you must accept with me that there's a whole lot of work that need to go in there, and the sphere of influence group will provide for them a platform where they can meet at their own convenience, discuss their issues, discuss what is biting them and how they think they can move forward, and they will escalate their issues through the Leaders Council onto whatever, and we're going to talk about that. Now, everyone graduated in a class at the INT. Yes, we have class governors and everything, but they have been working in silos or maybe pockets themselves. So we are thinking to give them a platform where all the class governors will come and sit, and they will nominate a leader among them and nominate whatever it is they want to nominate, so long as they can run perfectly. And they would again deal with specific issues that bother them and escalate it to the Leaders Council, which is right there on the bottom. The constitution of the Leaders Council and how it is constituted is right there in the Constitution, and it is further explained in the engagement handbook. But all these, because we know that we are human beings, and because we are human beings, it means we are definitely going to have our foibles, we are going to have our moments, and we are going to have, but because we don't want to begin to belabor the faculty, they have enough to do. It's my understanding that a part of the faculty is actually in East Africa right now. So you cannot belabor individuals like this that is tearing themselves at the seam with all kinds of issues. So if we have any of our members that have issues or violations, that have issues, we would now begin to recommend them to the Disciplinary Investigation Committee. So all these 5 committees will be undergirded, because we need to be able to enforce, and we need an enforcement. Automatically we talk about corrective measures. So if you're going to have corrective measures, we don't want the faculty to be coming and dealing with that. So we have ad hoc disciplinary investigation committees that will be dealing on case-specific platform on basis. When we have a case, we create that committee, and once the case is resolved, the committee will be dissolved automatically, so that we do not have a situation where somebody becomes a thin god, sort of. So people will now not be looking at themselves as, oh, we are the one that do. No, because we want fairness, we want equity, we want freedom, and we want people to be able to contribute to what we are doing. So per case, we will have these ad hoc disciplinary committees, and they will deal with each case, and after that, they will dissolve. And we will not repeat them as often as, we will not repeat them, we'll just let people come in. Many of us will belong to that committee going forward. Okay, so that is the administrative structure that we have recommended and that have been approved. Yes, but I just remember that I have not gotten a copy of that constitution and that engagement handbook. And I'm sure the ED is listening to me. Please, you will help me, Ogashin. We need to get an approved copy. We will send a hard copy to the DG. He will give us with a covering letter that those 2 documents is approved for us to run. We have already gotten approved in the board, but we need it communicated to us in letter, in writing, that we can run ourselves with those documents as it is being presented. Okay, so I do not know if you can see this very well. Please let me know if you can see this very well, if you can hear me. Maybe we need to enlarge it. Please let me know. Please speak to me. I hope I'm not speaking to myself. Please speak to me.
It looks okay from here, not that small. I don't know if anyone else is having challenges.
Yeah, I will need someone, some other people to let me know if they can make sense of what I'm putting here, because it's important that we get it.
I'm okay from here. It's okay.
Lovely. Thank you so very much. Okay, so I have one okay. Can I have 2 more okays, please? We are 17 in the room. Can I have 2 more okays? If you can read it. Okay. If I do not have 2 more okays.
Yeah, I enlarged it and I can read it.
Okay, lovely. So please, House, you have had it. It's important that we get it. That's why I'm making this stress, so that we all get it. I know many of us are in the meeting on the phone. If you are on the phone, I will speak to it, and what I will do is this paper will be put on the platform, or maybe we would remove this and put it on the platform so that everybody can now please get used to it. But please listen. Now, this is our tactical engagement plan. We are hoping that hopefully as the Lord leads us, we are going to now begin to engage via the methods that we have put in here. And what you're going to see is we have right there what deliverables we are looking for. And we have broken them into 3 families. And those 3 families were taken from this slide. Let me show you. From this slide, okay, that we call the tactical engagement ecosystem. Okay, so what we have done is to taken each of those items and broken it down to deliverables on this engagement plan. Okay, so under recruitment and admission, like I said, if the intern gets its act right, then the faculty need not bother themselves on the steady stream of students. They should just bother themselves with the curriculum. Okay, so we are working to say the sphere of influence groups and the class communities are the easiest way in ensuring that we have a steady stream of recruitment and admission. It is the reason we have those bodies, so that at those bodies, they would begin to talk, and through their activities and engagement with them, with their immediate community, they would excite their awareness and perception, that is the next level, to ensure that there is a steady flow of recruitment into the institute. Okay, so I have written a number of tasks here that we have engaged in. For instance, facilitate the inauguration and effective running of sphere of influence group nationally, regionally, and locally. And here we have identified the resources, those who will do it. This was the old date in which we said we're going to start. And now this is the new date because of certain obvious reasons. We do not have an executive committee yet. And until we have an executive committee, we cannot truly run this thing. So we are hoping that we can start at this date. Okay. So that is exactly how you're going to look at that and read it. And you will take us to what the alumni development relations will be. Because of time, I'm not going to bother you too much. I just need to explain that first line, headline, so that you can see exactly what we're talking to. Okay. So the website construction, we said to ourselves, yes, the INT has its own website, but to chase a dominant perception in the marketplace, because I have spoken to a lot of our graduates, and it is uppermost that again we have escalated to the national office, and they seem to understand what we're talking about. We must find a way of having, and I always say this when I speak to this, of having some controlled, please put that controlled in parentheses, some controlled independence from the faculty, okay? Not from INT, from the faculty, okay? Because the INT management office is different from the faculty. And if it is not, we now need to begin to work to ensure that the management office of the INT is not exactly the faculty. But that is not our problem. That's the problem of the management, the national office. Okay, so for that, we have now created a website for the Alumni Association. We have a website for the Alumni Association now, and that website have been backed up by an app. We have an app that we all can pick up from the iOS store, the Apple store and the Google store. It is not up yet. The Google store, I think, is up, but I've told them not to commission it, because we want the iOS store to come on board, because we all know Apple have all kinds of levels of checks and everything before they give you the license to do it. But it is ready, fully designed and ready. And the reason we say we're going to put it on an app is that, as you would find, that we want to go into an election for the executive committee. And we want to make it as simple as it can be for everybody to participate. And for them to participate, we think the easiest and the cheapest way to do that is to put an electoral platform on that app, so that when the windows for election is opened, people from wherever they are on the surface of the globe can vote.
Great.
Once they vote, we will be able to count the vote in the back office, publish the dynamics, and everybody will see the transparency. Not the way INEC did their own. No. I know INEC promised and under-delivered. No, this will be different because we have the Spirit of God with us. So we are not going to do it like INEC. So everybody will see it. But basically, this is what it's going to look like. Okay, you're going to find a splash screen like that and a sign-in screen, which is going to tell you to register. If you look at it, there is, let me see, yes. You see? So you can't sign in until you register. You can't sign in until you register. And you cannot register until you give us all this information. And what are the information that we need? Number one is we need your names, your first and last name. We need your email address that is functional, because we are discovering that a number of email addresses are actually moribund. They are not functional. And for an organization like this, they ought to be functional. Okay, then you will be able to have your password. That is after you are registered. Okay? After you are registered. And I will talk to you more about why we think registration is very important. To register, the number of issues will happen, and this again is going to facilitate the things that we are doing at the. Just give me a second. So I'm trying to. Okay. All right. You will see something here that we have our logo. Our logo is not exactly. It's not exactly the logo of the INT. All in the bid, you can see it right there. And this is the URL of our website. Please, you can copy it. It's very easy. It's very easy. We can actually visit it now. Let me see if I can visit that. I'm trying to see if I can visit the website so that all of us can see what it feels like for those who have not already visited it. Can you see the website now? Can you see the website? Hello?
No, sir.
Not yet.
So what are you
We're still
looking
seeing a slide.
at? What are you seeing? Because I'm looking at it.
Your slide.
We're still seeing your slide. Maybe it's still loading from your hand.
Okay, all right, no problem. Since you have the address, please, please try and since you have the address is right there. It is intern. Intern is intan.intinternational.org. Please, you can just visit the website. It is up and running, and your critique is welcome. We have critiqued it severally, but again, your own critique is welcome, and we can move on from there. Okay, so now I will come back. I will come back to the registration because I don't want to put anybody off at this point. I want you to listen to me before we now talk about, because there are certain things you would meet going forward in that. Okay, so quickly, to run the election, we already have an electoral committee in place. Okay, we are talking about executive committee matters, and we have an electoral committee here that is led by Dr. Ishaku Jelemsa, who is our returning officer. We have our indefatigable, that word is overflowed, isn't it? Our brother, Shewoluwalade, the Lord will strengthen you, my ED. I don't know where you get the strength from, but the Lord will strengthen you. Our darling sister, Pastor and Mrs. Bumi Igbenijesu, is on that electoral committee. We have our sister, Bukola Femi Ajala, on it. And we have our brother, Chijioke. What is his name again? His surname. I keep forgetting. It's not Chijioke, the president. Chijioke in the faculty.
Ohanaka.
Ohanaka. Please, Chijioke, if you are on board, please, I'm terribly sorry. Forgive me. I will not make this mistake again. I'm going to just pen it down properly now. Don't be angry. I beg you, forgive me. Ohana. Okay. So that is him there. So we have 5 of them, and we are trusting them because after this meeting, we held them down all this while because we needed to give them certain information. After this meeting, they would have all the information they need to go forward. This is a sample of the letter that was sent to them on your behalf by the governing board of the INT. Okay, you will have the slide and you can take a look at it. Now, from here on in, we go on into our engagement plan. Many, you can see that we already received the stamp of the board to run this thing, okay? Because when we come together and begin to work, the reason many disenchantment have been witnessed in running the alumni community is because we have not thoroughly engaged. It was the reason I spoke the way I spoke in that commencement. All our talents are hidden. All our talents. Many of us, we have just concealed all that we have learned in INT. We went into projects, it was fanciful, fantastic, we got good credits, but we did nothing. Very few of us are actually running with those projects. How then do we hope to engage a community? Because no matter how intelligent you are, if you do not engage, nobody knows. No matter how good you are, your talent does not even benefit you if you do not work in that talent. So we are looking for platforms in which we can truly engage our community. So we said, we proposed these 4 levels and we got a stamp of approval for it. You can read it again, but important, let me just speak directly to it in the time that I have so that I don't waste, because I know Gilem Sir is coming. We have what we call the leaders retreat. We have what we call the PPD protocols, which is the public-private dialogue protocols. You can read what that means. We have a way of obtaining our buy-in, and we said to ourselves, we can't do all these 3 and not find some people from our midst who is going to now say, now we have spoken so much about change, we want to go into those offices and begin to effect those changes. So hopefully we are hoping that last year was our election in Nigeria. Maybe next, in another 4 years, last year was 20, by 2027, we will be having a number of people, maybe half a dozen, maybe a dozen, maybe a score, that would step into various kinds of offices. And then we will now begin to have a lobby, a pressure group that's actually lobbying for people to get political appointment. That is the only way we can effect change. And that is what we are saying. If we take ourselves seriously enough, then we can do. So please, you can read all this because I don't have all the time to go through it. If you want us to come here at your interactive sessions, we can come back to it so that we can take a good look at that and see how it goes going forward. So that is our thorough engagement plan. I want all of us to have it at the back of our mind going forward. Okay, so registration matter, I told that we are going to come here and talk this about my penultimate slide. Now, you cannot register because what we have done is the website, on our website, if you go through it, you have to, we'll go back and look at it. Once you want to register, it will ask you a question. Have you done your Oak Seed leadership course? If yes, we want to know when you graduated and what class. Have you been certified? Have you attended the History Makers training? If your answer is yes, we want to know when. You know, immediately you say yes, that in that jiffy, we are going back to the database. The platform will go to the database and run a quick check. Because if you do not make those 2 criteria, you can't go forward. You can't go forward. So once you make that, is why you can see they are darkened. You can't go forward. It's the dark spot there. Once you have not qualified appropriately, you won't go forward. So, but when you do that, you go forward. And what it will be asking you is, are you owing the institute? It will go to your financial record. If you're not owing, it takes you to the next level. And that next level is, yes, you are not owing, you have done History Makers, you have done OCLC. Have you been admitted into INT? And what that simply says is, have you graduated? Have you gone through the ceremony? Have you taken the oath? because it is not enough for you not to owe. There's many of us who have done all that, but we have not taken the oath. The oath is almost autocratic for us. It is something to say to us that we finally identified with the ethos of the institute, and we agree and abide, we agree to abide by its dictums. It's an oath we take before God. So that admission to the intern is predicated on that oath taken. If you have not taken the oath, then you can't even go forward. Okay? And that's why I said I don't want to ruffle that further. And I hope we all understand this. It's where those 4 levels, once you scale them, then you can now fully register as a voter. Okay? So I conclude this presentation today. Like I said, I'm just picking those things I think are relevant for us at this time. Let me conclude this. If you can see my slide, you can see something here that is in the skies. I colored it deliberately the color of the skies. If we want a virile and a healthy alumni body, certain things that we must do. First, we must overcome the liturgy. It is that which is underpinning everything. There is so much lethargy, so much frustration among the graduates of INT in the marketplace today. We are working as hard as we can to attenuate it. What are we doing? We have begun some consultative meetings. We are planning to do that consultative meeting. In fact, the Abuja has kicked off. Last week we met. We called an elders meeting of about 6 people. 5 of us came and we met in our sister's house. Sister, what's that her name again now? This is my sister, the doctor, the Harvard doctor. Oh boy, what's her name?
Jackie.
Jackie Ketonye, excellent. We were there. A number of people came, some elders came, including my darling sister, Toyin Matthews, and the rest of them. We were all in that room and we discussed at length to see how we can now excite the meeting, the bigger meeting in Abuja. We are looking to invite every known graduate. Sorry, Indians taught me. So sometimes I speak Indian English like my wife would say. Every graduate of INT, we want to bring them into the room and talk to ourselves heart to heart. We are hoping that if we can get 10% of the graduates here, we will run with that. But we don't want to do it and further accentuate the liturgy that is in the place. When people say, oh, they didn't tell us, we want to tell as many people. So we are planning it. The planning committee, like I said, which is like an elders forum, had already met. And we're looking to meet, I think it's 2nd or 3rd or maybe 28th. I've forgotten the date now. But we will come in. But those in Abuja will get the date and we are going to meet. We will do another one in Lagos. I'd already spoken to a number of people in Lagos, okay, about 3 or 4 fellows, and they have agreed to work with me. And we are going to be holding it in quiet pools. I've spoken to the owner of the quiet pools, our darling sister. I think she's out of the country now, but she's connected us with people we can talk with. I'll come to Lagos, we will meet with everybody in Lagos, and we would get those people, we would explain to them what we're trying to do and how we are trying to go forward. Because I think we need to work against that lethargy if we are going to be able to fly going forward. Number 2 step, actually, after we have worked on that, because that's very fundamental, we are looking at optimizing the faculty alumni community relations. I've been speaking to it slyly ever since I started this presentation. That is, that controlled independence we are talking about. Let the faculty be the faculty. If they want to have a management office, let it be a management office. Let them have that. Whatever they want to do, let them run it. But the alumni must be independent. I've been saying this. But I assure the DG, and I'm going to meet with him, speak with him, you should be rest assured. There can't be an intern without INT. And that's why the name is intern. The AAN is after INT. We would go back to them, but we need it to be controlled so that people can feel the need that they are doing their stuff for themselves. So we need to optimize it. Whatever the resources are, however it is, we need to look at how best it's going to run for us as adults and intelligent adults for that matter going forward. Now we need to begin to truly walk our talk. And that is why we have captured the prompt community engagement series. Now we want to begin to talk as we have indicated. Please let me go back. As we have indicated in this slide, and I want all of us to put this slide to heart. We have indicated, if anybody wants, we can come back to it to discuss it. As we have indicated on that slide, all those levels, we want to get everybody participating at the sphere of influence group, at the class communities. You're talking to yourself, what do you want to do? You are escalating to us at the Leaders Council, and the Leaders Council is making the presentation to the Governing Council, and we are going forward. Whichever way it is we are going to work, we know how to. And then we now, from there, once we can get these three right, number 4 won't be such an easy thing. But you must understand, number 4 has the biggest button there. The reason is, it has to do with sustainability. Without funds, nothing moves. Change cannot occur if we do not have a sustainable funding stream. And that, I have been racking my brain. A number of us have been thinking, and we hope that with the solutions that is coming to our mind, we'll be able to crack that. And I know that once we are able to crack these rungs, this is the first rung, the second, the third, and the fourth, we are going to have a very healthy alumni body, and the INT will be good for it, will become a household name, and Nigeria will know that indeed there is an institute that is really serious about transformation. I know that every one of us, we are ready to go. The only thing is for us to key it into it, bring all the solutions. And let me say this, everything I have presented here, please know that it is just the thoughts of certain number of us. We welcome your idea. It's the reason we are going to tender these presentations and every other presentation we have made. We will tender it to you. Please take the time to look at it, interrogate it, make your suggestions, be part of the building so that we all together can have something all of us will subscribe to. I want to thank you for the time you've given me, and I seek the floor for your interrogations. I'm honored. Good evening, sir and ma'am. My ED, the floor is seated if you're still in. Hello, am I talking to myself?
Well, with you, thank you very much, sir. Right, so we would like to take comments, questions. Does anybody have some comments around the content that has been shared, any area that wasn't very clear, how it will work, suggestions on how to improve, or any of those other comments? You can type it in the chat. You can also raise your hand so we can unmute you and can speak to it. Thank you very much, Dr. Olutului. This is very comprehensive. Yeah, that's the word. It's quite comprehensive. Do we have any comments from any of us on the call? And I see the other, some of the other members of the board of the intern on the call, Mr. Sholape Adesri, Mr. Tucci, Femine. Thank you so much for all of the work. So if I may ask, so Dr. Toluhi, so do we have a timeline from where we are now to when the elections are likely to take place?
Yes, by God's grace, and like I said, immediately we finish this meeting and we have a buy-in on all the things that we have proposed. We are sending everything we have to the returning officer, and we would expect the returning officer to call his team and get back to us in 6 weeks. So we can actually start counting our 6 weeks from today. And yes, just count the 6 weeks from today, Monday. So if you let me check that, we can advise the House immediately. Today is 19th. Our 6 weeks will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That will be April 1st. Can you imagine that? April Fool's Day.
So, okay, some said some people did not get the link that you have mentioned earlier, so it's now posted in the chat.
intern.intinternational.org.
That's right. So if we open that link right away, we will see the platform already. We can add some interaction with the details there and the process, things all that have been set out. So feedback is welcome at this time before the actual application interface will be ready for the real election itself 6 weeks from now. So let's just do that, provide some feedback, and then we can take it from there. We also have a frequency asked question FAQ section that answers many some of the likely questions from those who might not be clear about what the intern represents and some of our functionality and other details around our activities. So it's a very good time. It's a very good opportunity for all of us, as Dr. Shegun said from the beginning. The objective is really to bring in as many as possible on board in terms of functionality, in terms of collaboration, in terms of collaboration across our spheres, collaborations across areas of interest, common areas of interest, as has been shared already. So I take it that no questions. Do we have any questions? Okay, Mr. Bamidele Alashupo, do you have a question, sir? Okay, I see you're muted. Okay. Oh. Okay. Yes. So the links have been posted. Thank you. You said light is a major issue everywhere, and you would like a summary with FAQ on our platform. So, like I mentioned, the link. We click the link. All the details required are actually available once you open that web page. So we can take time to share that. We will also post it as part of pre-information leading up to the proposed elections that will come up a few weeks from now. All right. So again, thank you, sir. Do you have some closing comments so that we can round up the meeting within the
okay, thank you so very much. The only thing I would want to say is I really would want to see a more, because I'm not too sure I'm that good a teacher. Now that I do not have a question, I'm worried because it looks to me that I didn't communicate appropriately. So what we are going to do, we would put these slides on the screen. Please show. We'll put it on the platform, and I'm just going to write a rejoinder to it. Please let everybody help us take a look at it, because we really don't have all the answers. We want them to contribute. We want everyone to make some level of contributions so that we know that we are running with documents that can stand the test of time. That would be all that I want, because now that I didn't get interactions, I'm worried. I really am worried when I give stuff like this and I do not get, because the paper can be that good. Thank you so very much, and please enjoy your services.
Thank you very much, sir. I think it's a case of a lot to digest, maybe for some who haven't seen this, who have not been in touch with our updates in terms of what we have been planning over time. But it's fine. We will also post the recording so that those who are not here right now can have some time to listen on what this plan are like. And like I said, we will also get many updates in the days to come on our platform. So just by way of announcements as we close, we had a very beautiful graduation event on Saturday, 2 days ago. Class 046, actually 3 classes. Those who are ready from class 044, 045, and 046, Oxid Executive Leadership course. And this was in addition to those who had graduated in Oyo in 2023, October. So we have 047 coming up, and we have just a few weeks to the start of that. We have the flyer on the screen. We have shared this already on our platform. Let's send it to friends, send it to people that we believe need to take advantage of this program. It's entirely online at this point. This is the courses are online, and also we're going to have the History Makers training as a fully residential online program. So with this, geographical location is no longer a limiting factor. So the link is there for additional details on our website. And then for those of us who actually want to, the reason I'm speaking to this, if you graduated for some time and over time the course content has improved, new things have been added, some courses are now running that were not there when some of us took the course. You might want to audit the program. You want to just come in and do a refresh. You will not need to do the assignments. You will not need to do the tests. But you just come in, sit in the class. So reach out to us as well. The opportunity is there. You can use that to refresh 1 weekend a month, and it runs for that's altogether 6 months for the 7th, which is the History Makers training program. For those who haven't done HMT, it will be a good opportunity to also take on that challenge. So with that, we have come to the end of tonight's meeting, just a few minutes over the time that we have advertised. We apologize for that. We will have our next engagement 2 weeks from now. Like I said, going forward, we'll strive to have 2 sessions every month. But I can assure you, once we come in with the plans as shared tonight, there's a lot for all of us to be part of. There's a role for every one of us. Like Mama Peggy would say, Nigeria has a problem that has your name on it. So we want to provide that platform of the opportunity for all of us to come in a systematic way. Like Dr. Tolui said, without a plan, results are going to be very, very undefined. So we want to create a platform that will give us a very good opportunity to bring user collaboration to produce the very best results. So with that, we've come to the end of tonight's meeting. I will call on, we haven't heard a female voice, so I will ask Barrister Sholake to lead us in a closing prayer. I should be able to do that for us tonight.
Okay, thank you, sir. Good evening, everybody. Our Father, we want to thank you. Thank you for your faithfulness. Thank you for your mercies. Thank you for INT. Thank you for intern. Thank you for how you have brought us and where you are taking us to. We ask for your wisdom and your helps to accomplish all that we have presented and beyond. In Jesus' mighty name we have prayed. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you very much, ma'am. And thank you, leaders. God bless you. Let's have a wonderful night.
Yeah, good night.
So have a great week. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good night.